You won't believe this news. The interview with Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse was aired on 60 Minutes tonight, but they brought in an SEC official who told a whole bunch of lies about crypto, talked a whole bunch of FUD. I'll share the details with you and what people are saying. And Amazon shareholders want the company to add Bitcoin to its balance sheet. This is huge. Game theory is playing out. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, let's start by looking at the price of Bitcoin because Bitcoin had a very bullish weekly close. Right now it's sitting below 100,000. It's been chopping between $99 and $101,000. That's normal and healthy consolidation. Now, I've been saying Bitcoin could potentially roll over and go test 88 or 80,000. So just be mentally prepared for that. That would be incredibly healthy and normal. It's things that have happened in the bull market. And if you zoom out on the charts, you see that type of pattern happen historically. But one thing's for sure, we are headed to higher prices. And in fact, Bitcoin closed its highest ever daily candle and weekly close, and it closed above 101,000, but obviously has pulled back since then. Same thing with XRP. It is consolidating. It's currently at $2.49. And it could also roll over and test some lows like $2 or whatever it may be. But Blockchain Backer highlighted here that XRP had its second highest weekly close in history and closes the weekly candle above the 702 retrace of the 2018 and 2024 range. So we are seeing higher highs and higher lows and support levels being built and resistance being broken through. All healthy stuff, but once again, make sure you are mentally prepared for the pullbacks. I've been in bull markets where we've seen 30 to 40% pullbacks, and it can be stomach churning, especially if you're new to the market. For me, it's just business as usual because I've gone through the meat grinder and I've gained the experience. I've been able to learn the market cycles, the charts, and what metrics to look at to see if this is the end of the story or the music stops here or it continues. So right now, we are still in the midst of the bull market. Things are heating up, but expect pullbacks and corrections, guys. That will be very healthy. And as far as the next price target, analyst Crypto, who, his name is Chris, actually, he was on my podcast a couple months ago. He tweeted out his next target for XRP is $3.05. So let's see what happens, guys. And the total altcoin market cap, it's weekly closed above $425 billion for the first time since November 2021. So, of course, that was the peak. November 2021 was the peak of the bull market for that last cycle. So you can see we still have to make new highs, right? We haven't even broken through the new highs. So we are in the phase of catching up to the previous all-time highs. Then once we break through, we enter into price discovery. And that's what we want to see for XRP. It happened for Bitcoin already. Bitcoin already in price discovery once it broke that all-time high. So guys, things are looking bullish, but once again, have in the back of your mind that corrections and pullbacks will happen on the way up. Now, I'm not sure how many of you caught the 60 Minutes interview with Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. It's online. I took a look at it, and overall, it was good. It gave a lot of exposure to the crypto industry, XRP, and Ripple. A major win is, for example, they showed that XRP rallied 300% and it's up and so forth. And they also talked about how crypto was impacting the elections and all the things that were happening. However, what a lot of people didn't know, they brought in John Reed Stark, the Gary Gensler brown noser himself. This guy actually blocked me about a year ago because I started calling out his bullshit because he goes around echoing the nonsense talking points that Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler usually say, and that is crypto has no utility, it's a scam, and much more. So he went on there and said all these things, guys, and that was surprising. I didn't expect that. And he's a clown. So like I said, he's a Gary Gensler brown noser. He also stated that all these things are securities and on and so on and so on, right? So it's pretty much like a Gary Gensler carbon copy that was there. And 60 Minutes did a bad job of countering those things because they didn't even say a federal judge ruled that XRP intrinsically was not a security. How do you not highlight that, right? And Brad actually, I'll share the tweet with you. He said he did mention that. And in addition, they did not highlight the losses the SEC took in court, such as with the ETF being called arbitrary and capricious. They hid all those things. They even hid that Gary Gensler and the SEC met with Sam Bankman-Fried and the FTX. So the fix is in here, right? To hide those facts. Those are not like subjective statements. Those are hardcore facts. These are rulings from the court and much more. But 60 Minutes is going to try to protect the government as much as possible. It's mainstream media, right? They're not going to highlight all these things that happened. That once again, Gary Gensler met with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX officials multiple times, and under their watch, Sam Bankman-Fried was doing all these things. So there you have it, right? The fix was in. But I think, once again, overall good. Brad Garlinghouse said he wants to comment on a few things after watching the interview. He said, I spoke with Margaret Brennan 60 Minutes for 90 plus minutes straight. When discussing the SEC's misguided lawsuit against Ripple, 60 Minutes shockingly left out the federal judge ruled that XRP is not a security. Gensler's shill, John Reed Stark, knows better despite his comments that 60 Minutes chose to air. Lastly, to say crypto has no utility is exactly what the naysayers said about the internet in its earliest days, that it's not more than an illicit activity. How vastly they were proven wrong. Today, even JP Morgan is coming around on blockchain. Conveniently, 60 Minutes also failed to mention that Ripple is doing billions of dollars of KYC-led transactions for our institutional customers, leveraging XRP to move money cross-border more efficiently than traditional payment rails. So, once again, a bit of a fix there, but overall, it's good visibility because the general population got to see kind of the full view of crypto and what crypto has been doing and how Ripple's building as a company, not looking to scam anybody and things like that, because FTX was brought up and Brad was asked about FTX. But once again, no mention of what Sam Bankman-Fried was doing with a lot of the politicians and meeting with Gary Gensler and so forth, right? The cover up there. And these are factual things. So there you have it, folks. Let me share what some other people are saying. Dom from EZA, he's the co-founder. He said, this summer, a federal judge ruled XRP is not a security, but 60 Minutes deliberately chose to leave this out of their interview with Brad Garlinghouse. We need more honest media surrounding crypto. Attorney Fred Rispoli says, have only watched clips on X, but it seems likely that 60 Minutes Ripple segment was not well researched and or unfairly edited by the show's team. I mean, having John Reed Stark on, did the show at least inform the audience this guy is the biggest homer for the SEC you could get? To Fred's right here, right? We know who John Reed Stark is, but you know they're going to try to cover up for the SEC and not have the SEC get too embarrassed. Now, the other day I told you guys about Caroline Crenshaw, Democrat commissioner at the SEC, who is outright anti-crypto, and she voted against the Bitcoin ETF approval even after the judge or the judges ruled that the SEC acted arbitrary and capricious. So this person went against the law, right? And writing a letter of dissent and much more. Well, I told you guys she should kick rocks, and I hope she doesn't get voted in. But even if she does, she's outnumbered. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong weighed in as well, saying Caroline Crenshaw was a failure as an SEC commissioner and should be voted out. She tried to block the Bitcoin ETFs and was worse than Gensler on some issues, which I didn't think was possible. The Senate Banking Committee should take note. The crypto community is watching this vote. I'm told it will be factored into the Stand With Crypto scorecards for politicians. I love it. We got to keep them accountable, guys. All right, guys, quick word from our sponsor, and that is the VeChain, which is one of the top layer one enterprise blockchains that is powered by smart contracts. And VeChain is being used by many big brands and companies around the world to build Web3 apps. They are partnered with BMW, Boston Consulting Group, PwC, Givenchy, Walmart China, and many other big companies. And some of the great attributes of the VeChain blockchain includes it's secure, affordable, scalable, fast, and sustainable. I've been a VET token holder for years, so if you'd like to learn more about VeChain, go to vchain.org. Link will be in the description. Now, guys, check this news out. Amazon shareholder, the National Center for Public Policy Research, submits proposal for Amazon to adopt Bitcoin as a Treasury reserve asset. So if you recall, the shareholders of Microsoft did the same thing about a month ago. Michael Saylor, in fact, went and spoke to the respective board of Microsoft. And we'll see if they vote to get this done. I think the vote is this week. But guys, I tweeted out about this. This is the start of something big. This is not a fad. And here are my reasons. Number one, BlackRock has given the market the green light for Bitcoin, and they are financializing Bitcoin for TradFi, just as they have for other commodities and movements like ESG. Remember when BlackRock went all in on ESG and all that stuff, and notice the pressure it put on the rest of Wall Street and companies? They're going to do the same thing with Bitcoin. We know BlackRock is connected to the government. They did a lot of stuff in 2008, even in 2020 with buying homes and much more. And BlackRock kind of sets the standard as the world's largest asset manager, right? I don't think I need to explain the dynamics there. So they've been accumulating Bitcoin at a rapid pace. And essentially, they're going to force everyone to participate in one way or the other. Second, Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy have laid out the blueprint and shown the success of raising debt and issuing bonds and all these things, and how impactful that can be to their stock price. So that is going to be very appealing to many of these companies who are publicly traded, of course. Number three, the global race for Bitcoin as a strategic reserve kicked off by the United States, being headed up by Senator Cynthia Lummis and, of course, Donald Trump endorsing it. So I think you see where we're headed, guys, right? It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I think eventually all of these companies are going to capitulate, and it takes some of these big dominoes to fall, and the rest of Wall Street and corporate America is going to follow, guys. Because if you watch what BlackRock is doing, the nonstop buying, they're going to pass Satoshi's holdings. They've been moving some of their Bitcoin ETFs into their other funds. So it's actually bolstering those other funds. I mean, the writing's on the wall here, guys. So that's why I think this is going to happen sooner than later. And you were seeing ETFs for Bitcoin and Ethereum and other assets being launched globally. And let's see what happens next year with the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. It could simply be that the United States just holds on to the Bitcoin they have already, about 200 plus thousand. And, that becomes their treasury reserve, and then maybe they add over time. But the adding over time might be a hard sell because it has to go through Congress, of course. But just simply keeping what they have is an easy thing. So very interesting times that we live in, folks. This is why I'm bullish on this asset class. This is why there's going to be some Bitcoin I'm never selling. Yes, I'll be taking some profits this cycle, of course, buying the bloody bear market again as we head into 2027 and so on and so forth. But I'm preparing for the next bull market cycle as well, guys, to squeeze as much profit out of this asset class, guys. So let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Guys, a great way you can support me is by subscribing to my free email newsletter. It's 100% free on Substack. And grab a copy of my book, Rethinking Crypto. It's available on Amazon in paperback and digital. You can buy a copy for yourself, buy a few copies for your friends and family who want to learn about crypto, help them to not get wrecked. Education, knowledge is power, guys. So the book talks about crypto's past, present, and future, all the FUD with the SEC versus Ripple, FTX, and then why Wall Street's here, issuing ETFs and tokenizing and much more. And if you bought a copy already, please leave a rating and review. It will really help me out. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.